this meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start with a roll call. Jerome Armstrong.
Present.
Richard Kearns. Jennifer Dunham Young.
Present.
Kimberly Gordon Brooks. Bill Bean.
Present.
Tasha Abrams.
Present.
Spencer Mitchell. Present. We'll move on to the rules of the meeting. Greetings and thank you for attending this evening's meeting. We'd like to start the meeting by covering some ground rules for procedures. It is the role of the Planning Commission to, number one, continuously review the effectiveness and appropriateness of the planning and zoning text and recommend such changes or amendments it would feel to be appropriate. Number two, review all proposed amendments to the planning and zoning text and the zoning district map and make recommendations in the best interest of the public in general to City Council. Number three, review all planned unit development applications and make recommendations in the best interest of the public in general to City Council. Number four, review and act on site plans, including sign permit applications. We shall begin with the approval or disapproval of any minutes from the previous Planning Commission meeting. Following the approval or disapproval of minutes, each application shall be reviewed in the following manner. Number one, acting secretary shall read the application and the City of Urbana staff shall read all staff comments. Number two, the acting chair shall ask for comment from the applicant or applicants. Number three, the acting chair shall ask for comments from the public in support of the application, and then for comments from the public against the application. Number four, the Planning Commission shall discuss the application, and the acting chair shall invite a motion from the Planning Commission. The board members shall make a motion to approve, deny, or table the application. After all applications have been discussed and addressed, any miscellaneous business shall be brought before the Planning Commission. And then finally, we would adjourn the meeting. So, with that being said, if the Planning Commission has had a chance to review the prior meeting minutes from May 18th, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Someone approved.
All in favor of approving the meeting minutes from May 18th, 2026, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? We'll move to old business. So, procedurally, in order to move forward with the old business, PC-226-07, I will need a motion to untable this item so they can be discussed and potentially reviewed for passage.
A motion to untable.
And a second. All in favor of untabling PC-2026-07, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. This item is officially untabled. We will move to, within your packet, you will see supplemental email along with some letters, various located in around Champaign County. Any questions or comment from the Planning Commission relative to the information provided? You can get more into that later if you choose. So I know that Preston does not have any additional comments for tonight, but I will invite City Staff Member Crable to address the email that we received in the packet. So I'd invite Doug to stand and he can share a little bit more context of those emails. Doug?
Sure, so those are both in your packets. The first one is the one that Preston's brought up, is the Section 106 question. Mr. Bry posed the question whether or not the project has applicability to Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act. That is a federal requirement for historic purposes. So Richwood Banking, or the Richwood Bank, is regulated by the Federal Reserve Bank and not the FDIC. If you click that link there that's in the email, that will show you the list of who the regulatory body is for each bank that's listed there. They are regulated by the Federal Reserve Bank and not the FDIC. If you scroll down further, this is actually the email communication that came from Richwood Bank's legal counsel, as the legal firm. But you will see that essentially there was a rule for FDIC regulated banks that went away in 2020 regarding the applicability of Section 106. However, there's not a specific requirement for a bank that is regulated as part of the Federal Reserve to meet the Section 106 requirement. So that's been to try to address that question, and that question came up at the May meeting. And then going back even to the April meeting regarding whether or not house at 313 South Main, the history part of that. So the State Historic Preservation Office does maintain what they call the Ohio Historic Inventory. That house is listed on the inventory. However, the bullet points that are posted there in the email specific to the inventory, you'll see it doesn't necessarily provide protection for what could be potentially historic property being listed on inventory in and of itself. Furthermore, it doesn't necessarily mean that it would be a property that would be considered by itself for the National Register or part as a district. So there's that, but basically it's identify a potentially historic property is the intent of that. There are numerous listings in the city. Some buildings are gone, lots of buildings that are still there. It's just an inventory. So if you go on down, one of the questions that was posed is it on the National Register or is it within a district that's on the National Register? So if you scroll down, I pulled the list of currently listed properties within the city of Urbana, including any districts that are currently listed for the city of Urbana on the National Register, and reference those for Planning Commission. And then also, one thing that's off the Ohio History website, one thing that frequently gets confused regarding National Register listings is that just because it's listed on the National Register, which this one is not, an owner cannot demolish a building that's on the National Register. It doesn't actually protect the building. The idea is if it's listed that, it be on the National Register. Furthermore, we have a local preservation ordinance, which we do for our downtown area, the heritage overlay. And then buildings have an additional level of local protection ordinance. In this case, and they were here showing our zoning map, but essentially across the street, the boundary for the overlay and the applicability around that. It doesn't apply to the 313 parcel. So the intent of that was just try to answer some of those questions that have come up specific to the historic question for that's being built.
I think Preston's going to try to bring up the map. Doug, could you, or what were just for context for everybody, please?
Sure, I'm getting my bearings. So the yellow, which both the house and the commercial building are B3 and have been B3. There's been no rezoning that's taken place, to my knowledge, quite a while. I think those have been B3 for quite a while. But you can see the hash marks through B3, that indicates the historic overlay. So the boundary of that is on the other side of the street and does not apply to either 303 or 313, which are part of this project. If it had been on the other side, there would be some applicability as far as local preservation.
Any questions from the Planning Commission to Doug about that information? We will move on to comment of support. So if I'd like to extend an invitation to the applicants. There's representatives from Richwood Bank that would like to speak to this. Please come forward. If you could just introduce yourself.
Good. My name is Chad Hoffman. I'm president and CEO of Richwood Bank. I have been with the bank since 1994, so it's been a little while. But I do want to thank the commission for moving the meeting up. I do have a time frame to meet on this, and needless to say, there was a little bit of an unexpected delay here. So for you guys to move it up really helps me get that done so I can follow the purchase contracts as they exist, provided that we get approved this evening. But the property itself, attractive. I want to thank Doug Crable with the city. He has worked with me for well over a year to help identify location. And I know we talked about this the last time, but we really feel like as a financial institution, we want to be in the business district, the downtown area, not to one specific side of town. We want to be in the downtown area where we located the two buildings that were for sale at the same time. One was commercial, the other was residential. The reason for the residential is it allows us to get as far away from the intersection as possible with the drive-through. Because with the bank comes a drive-through facility, and obviously it's right there on the corner where the alley is. Drive-through lane will beside that. We've already seen with the city the kind of the lanes in. I know that was discussed at the last meeting. We agree with everything basically the city has come back to us with. And I know 2 meetings ago when our architect was here, all of those were kind of covered then. There weren't any technical issues that were coming up with this. So, we have those things, but the drive-through will come in off of Main and then wrap around to the east side of the building is where the drive-through will be, and will come out onto Water Street. There will be a parking lot, basically where the parking lot is now. It'll be up front in the corner, but you'll access it further down on Water, as well as you will be able to get in that from Main as well. So that's the reason that the house was important in this, and why we aren't able to, preserve it the way as it sits, just simply because it'll block, it literally drive-through lane will go. So again, I want to thank you for that. And then The commercial property I know is empty at this time, and that we've also we got a letter late today that there's interest in moving the property. And as I mentioned in the first meeting a couple of months ago, that we would work with them at all possible on timeframes, because we've got months before we can get started, but we would starting in late this year. But we'll as soon as, again, if this gets approved, I can do the closings, I can set up time, and we can then communicate kind of our time deadlines on when something would have to be moved. But we'd do everything we could to, as we mentioned, that the house would be, we're not charging anything for the house if they want to move it. Otherwise, it was going to be demoed, so it's, no use. I don't own houses, so, we would have that if at all possible. So that's how it came up the first time. Be willing to answer any questions, but again, I do want to thank those that have shown up in support this evening. I asked Sarah Neer with the Champaign County Chamber, Ben Volrath with County Chamber. I've got Inga Witt with the Union County Chamber and Economic Development. Mike McDormand, I believe you saw the letter Greater Springfield Partnership, wrote a letter in support. Eric Phillips wrote one from Union County, but Inga was kind enough to come in person tonight for support as well. And then, like I said, Doug has been supportive and helpful. But Mr. Kite with Kite Realty has been really useful in communications. And I know Mr. Hamilton for the sellers has been very communicative back and forth. So everybody's been very cooperative in this process, and I've appreciated it. I do have other members from the community that are here for support, but I'm not going to embarrass them and call them out. It's something that's parts of them. But I do appreciate the support. We come into the community, we want to do it correctly, because that's just one way to get off on the right foot. So is there anything that I can answer for the commission specifically at this time?
Thank you for coming in, and I'm looking forward to working with you and making things happen.
I look forward. We've got customers in Urbana. I mentioned the first time, we're in Marysville, we're in Plain City, we're in Springfield, we're all around Urbana, we're just not in here. But one of our, Mr. Bolander with CT Communications, he's one of our members, and we just have always been trying. We've been trying for a while to find the location is everything to a financial institution, and we finally found one that works for us. And again, Mr. Crable working for me, he knows how many different sites we've looked at to try to make work. And so thank you. I appreciate the efforts, and like I said, great person in Doug. He's been fantastic on us identify exactly what was going to work for us, and I think we've come up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, the big thing with kind of we're hoping for like late fall. What we don't want to do is start breaking ground in late November. So the problem may be with this that I may have to push it off till spring, but we're going to try really hard to make it late this year, because I'd love to be open in mid to 2027. Obviously, the investment we're making, we'd love to turn that around as quickly as possible, but it's all going to depend on the blueprints that we draw up based on the working to make sure we fulfill all those needs. But once that's done and completed, we'll be asked to bid that specific design, and then we'll go from there. We'll get the GSC in there as soon as possible. But the demolition for it, again, we'll continue to watch. It'll be on the time frame of that construction. Like I said, especially if they plan to try to move the house, I'll find commitments on that. If they try to move the house, I'll try to push that back as far as I can to get it right before we would basically do it. So if not, you probably just because the buildings are standing, I don't want anybody to get hurt or do anything in the buildings themselves. If there's not a commitment to basically move it, I'll probably demo it sooner than later, just so we don't have any kind of...
We have the Labrador House. It's about 150 feet south of it.
Okay.
So you're our neighbor, and we certainly look forward to coming here.
Thanks, sir.
I don't know if there's any better reputation region.
Oh, wow, okay. You want a job? No, thank you very much.
No, yeah, I've known Richwood Bank for a long time.
Well, thank you. And again, when we come, it doesn't behoove us at all to not do things the right way and to make the relationship communications that we can. So thank you. Anything else?
I've noticed that the equity of labor there. Are you guys doing anything?
The city and I haven't discussed that yet. I mean, obviously, our drive won't be able to use the alley for us specifically, because it's an open alley, obviously. If there's a way for us to do anything there, I know we'll have to have some kind of a separation. So if it's separated, I don't think we'll be able to do anything with it. Just because, again, it is a city thing. And I don't know.
They are separated on your plan.
Correct.
What I remember. Yeah.
Because we want the alley in any way, right? So let's say cars are lined up, because we've got it so it wraps around and can go back there behind the building, in other words, to the south. If that was blocked, I wouldn't want to block that alley in any way. So that's why it's not really on but if it's again to work with them in any way around the property, if it makes it look nicer, it works more cohesively, we've done that before. Thank you. Anything else? All right. So thank you very much.
So first on the list, speaking for this application, I have Tim Bolander.
I'm good. I support
So next we have Sarah Neer.
Good evening. For those that don't know me, I'm Sarah Neer. I'm the Executive Director of the Champaign County Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here in support of Richwood Bank and their Urbana branch project. So I thought I could give a little bit of background on how we've gotten to know the team at Richwood. They joined the Chamber in March of 2021. So for the past 4 going on 5 years, I've gotten to know the team at Richwood, and I have seen them become an integral part of our community. Since joining the Chamber, Richwood has contributed more than $7,000 to the Chamber through sponsorships and membership dues. However, this investment in our community extends far beyond financial contributions. Their team has actively participated in Chamber events, attended community gatherings, and served on committees, including Second Saturdays. If any of you have been to a Second Saturday celebration in downtown, you may have noticed a bunch of kids having fun on a bouncy house. That is all thanks to Richwood Bank. They let us borrow their bouncy house for every second Saturday last summer. And then this year, they actually purchased a bouncy house for us to use at all of our chamber events. That has saved us more than $6,000 in rental costs. So that's providing a very lasting benefit for all of our community events. But what stands out the most for me is that Chad, Bethany, and the rest of the team at Richwood have taken the time to genuinely get to know Champaign County. Before publicly announcing plans for their new branch, which in our office we all said, finally, thank you for coming, they have hosted a lunch. They've taken the time to get to know community members. They've asked us for our feedback. They have, how can we contribute? How can we help this community? And that level of engagement reflects a company that wants to be a true community partner, not simply a business operating within our county. Shown through its actions that it's committed to investing in Urbana and Champaign County for the long term. The Chamber believes this project represents a positive addition to our community, and I respectfully encourage you to approve this application. Thank you.
Next I have Inga Witt.
I'm representing Union County Marysville Economic Development. We included a lot of Union County community groups, but we're in support of their great partners.
Thank you. County.
Good evening, Planning Commission. Good to see you all in Urbana again. I used to get to come to all of your meetings in council when I worked for Dayton Power and Light, but it's been a little while. So I too am the Richwood Bank, and I just want to come express that with you. When we had Richwood Bank has been in Huntsville for many, many years in Logan. So maybe 10, 15 minutes to the north of Bell Fountain. But there was always a desire to how do you get another really strong community partner into the downtown? If you've been to downtown Bell Fountain recently, there's a lot of positive things happening there, similar to here in Urbana. And an active recruitment campaign was done. So how do we get Richwood here? We would love to have them. The county actually owns a historic building in downtown Bell Fountain, Carnegie Library. And the county did not have use for it in a way that needed to be put to use. And partnered with Richwood and found a way to bring them into our community to make an impact immediately by putting to use a building that was vacant and needed some love. And they've turned it into an incredible part of our downtown. It's now a community place, meeting spaces. Literally this weekend, Mike and I went downtown to the farmer's market where it was closed and said, well, let's go to Richwood Bank. And so we go to Richwood Bank. Not because we had to do, but we just love it. They didn't want to go. There was a pinball machine. They wanted to play. That's just the kind of flavor and environment that you get with Richwood. And so incredibly proud of having 2 of them in Logan County, and you all will be incredibly proud to have them in your community. It's not just about having a building. It's not just about having a facility. It's about having another small business banking partner. That's what economic development is about. It's having sites and having properties, but you also need partners to come alongside and say, yeah, we'll finance that. We'll help make that. We'll be that partner. We have 2 cobblestone hotels that followed the model of what happened in Urbana. They wouldn't have happened in Richwood Bank. Those are the kind of things that take place in a community when you have a strong community banking partner. So you all are so fortunate to have them here. Really want to applaud the mission folks here around that are giving us a good look, because you can't get a partner. They'll be fabulous for you all. I think they've look very carefully at this site and are going to do things professionally, respectfully, and they never want to put community in a bad spot. And so I trust in doing their due diligence on this, and it will be an excellent fit for kind of a used and a great addition to your community. So I hope you all vote in favor of this. It's an excellent community. Thank you.
David, you?
Yep, in support. Local business owner property, I think it's fantastic that Richwood wants to come and invest in our community. That south corner needs a little bit of help. I think that will really pop that south corner, make that kind of vibrant corner. Just want to say that and support them and hope that we move forward.
Todd Woodard?
Put my hat back on because nobody knows me without it. Makes me taller too. I don't think I can say that you haven't already. Okay? I look at the standpoint of our community, Champaign County, and the partners that we need to be the right partners to bring businesses to Champaign County. I've talked to you about this, but I really feel making a decision on who comes to Champaign County as a business, the money should be the last decision. My opinion is they have to fit. Champaign County is rural. We have a great county, great city, and I can tell you, Richwood Bank absolutely fits. My experience with Richwood probably comes more on the county fair level, not just in Champaign. Union County, extremely strong. I'm not going to name all the counties, but when I talk about behind the scenes support, Richwood probably goes straight to the top, and I see a lot of it. Okay, because I auctioneer 90% the livestock, so I get to see who's bidding what and how much is bought. The other is back to the city and our county. All right, good businesses are good for our other businesses. That's huge. Now, in talking about Richwood, all right, as a business, some of our banks, a big factor in some cases are the size of the lending limits. Okay, if you want to do a big project today, you're going to get tapped out on a lot of banks. Not all. Okay, I can tell you this, for the attitude and hospitality and the community support that Richwood puts forth, they are a big bank with a small-minded rural hospitality mentality. I can tell you that for a fact. Okay, to me, and a lot in our county, that's important. When we take a step back and we think about it, it becomes very important. We have some banking today, and it becomes very impersonal. All right, it just does. It has some others that kind of take away from this, are a little old-fashioned, like myself. And they have that. They do. So, you've already kind of the point. Section 106 is out. There's nothing going against. When it comes to knocking down something, all right, you're looking at somebody that has a problem cutting down a tree or knocking down an old barn, okay? We farm. But there's a point in time that this is what needs to happen unless somebody's going to step up and take care of it. And at this point, they've already bought it. They own it. They got a plan to move forward. There is absolutely no negativity as far as Richwood coming to Champaign County. So I hope you ahead and make a decision, approve this for them, so that we've all been. And every day this goes by, okay, it just holds the project back, and they've got a few dollars invested and they want to move forward. So I think that's about all I need to say. I want to thank all of you and appreciate it.
So I do not have any members that wish to against this application. I will read that the preliminary staff recommendation, the staff made with the information available at the time, is for approval of this application contingent upon all outstanding TRC staff comments being addressed and incorporated into the plans. This recommendation does not include considerations of public input or applicant responses to the staff report. And so for those that don't know, the TRC stands for Technical Review Committee. Those are staff members of the city of Urbana, the various divisions, engineering, street, public works, water, sewer, all those. That being said, Preston, would you be able to click on the renderings just to show some visual plans that have been submitted to with this application?
For reference, I apologize, you would be basically on Water Street at the second entrance, so the stoplight would be down on your right. So that's the parking lot where it currently sits in front of the Goodyear building, would be where that parking lot where you see the striping. You can see the drive-through is on the left side of the building, which would be the east side. And the drive-through that you can't see is behind. You can see the cars facing it to the drive-through. It's access through which would be on the south side of the building, which is where the house would sit today. So right against the would be the access. This was drawn up a little bit more like a retail facility because we're trying to get away from the images of the old banks that are maybe a little bit less friendly. So we will be having a coffee shop inside this. I know Urbana doesn't necessarily need another coffee shop, but at the same time, we don't charge coffee. It's not something it's just an experience. People come in, we love to treat them as they're there. So you don't have to be a customer through Richwood. We actually take donations only to be able to get drinks from there. The donations go 100% to the locations. And just last year, we actually, after a 10-year, our first one was opened in Richwood in 2015. So after 10 years, we had over $1 million worth of donations to our donation spots through the coffee shops. We had 6 of them, but over $1 million has moved through the coffee shops to donations, and they 100% go to the places that they're designated. That is correct. They are all charity. They're all nonprofit organizations. We try to kind of spread throughout. Some are agricultural, some of them arts. We love arts. Animals. One of the most popular ones is down Springfield. It's Project Woman. So there's all different types of. In Richwood, the top one is North Union Schools. So we have several school districts involved, but like I said, we try to spread it across, but they are all nonprofits. We keep the number lower. You have to qualify to be one of the donation spots because we want to be able to send a decent each time we go, but we do trade them out, over months in. So we take applications for members that want that, but it is a donation model only. So like I said, we're not charging for the coffee. There will be a meeting room in that front corner, and I apologize to do it again, but the front corner where you see the glass up here underneath the diamond, there's a meeting room, should hold approximately 30 people. So that will be able to be used by the community as well if need be. And again, that's the reason also the coffee shop makes it nice is they can participate in that and go in and have a morning meeting or afternoon meeting, wherever that is. We can sign it out for evening hours, but we just want somebody able to stay for that. But yeah, that's some kind of a meeting room. It'll be used for closing in businesses as well, our business as well, but it can be used by, and that's just an evening. Thank you.
Any questions or conversations?
I mean, the only thing to say is, I fully believe the bank will work regarding the house. So, if there's proposals, move it, then they will do their best effort, I believe, to try to be it moved, but if it can, it can. I do believe Chad with Richwood will work with whoever has the means to move it, and help them move it. Make it happen for them. But I don't see any reason why we shouldn't move forward with this.
The new striping sign, having 2 small kids in elementary and junior high in the morning going to the school that area, ensuring that doesn't do the bank. Jenna, the next slide has the review.
I think we spoke about it in the last meeting, but engineering, they're going to make some to the striping on the streets themselves, not just within the parking lot. So those striping changes should help to alleviate that, so vehicles turning into the site will have a dedicated turn versus being stuck in traffic to turn. Variation of that, right? Right now there's a turn lane to turn onto West Water, but basically modifying the striping, which Richwood has agreed to do at their expense. So that basically, if you think about it, if you're going south like you're describing, Tasha, to turn in, and say you're turning in left to go into the bank, there would actually be a lane to pull into in the road and not block the traffic going south. Similarly, some changes on East Water as well for that drive. Changing the striping essentially on the road. That is one of the staff comments that's kind of.
Any other comments, questions?
I think that it's on board with this. I have a suggestion. If people are concerned because of the historical aspect, I understand it's just that architectural part that is historical. The historical society go in, if Richwood is, or whoever owns the property right now, they're fine with it, go in, document everything. Take whatever they want to take from the building and make a, some kind of what it was. But I think we need to move forward with this.
I'd just like to express my appreciation for the community partners in Champaign County and our neighbors around county for taking time out of your busy schedules to speak on this. So if there's nothing from the Planning Commission, I would entertain a motion.
I've moved to approve the application.
Do I have a second?
Oh, second.
All in favor of approving PC-2026-07 Richwood Bank, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. It has been approved. So, do not have any new business or miscellaneous business. Is there anything else that wants to be discussed? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.